Welcome back, beeps. Whew! It is freaking hot. I don't know how it is everywhere else in the US. I can't really speak for them. Of course, he's gonna start squeaking now. Right, handsome Corgo? But mm-hmm. Yes. Resume activity. Okay. We'll try again in 2 seconds. This is the troublemaker right here. Mm-hmm. Yep. Go there. No? No? As I was saying, I don't know how it is everywhere else in the US, but I know that here in Rhode Island and Massachusetts area, it's gone from literally winter cold, like seriously ridiculously cold, to all of a sudden sweating, fan in the kitchen, AC in the bedroom type of weather. This week's video, I want to talk to you guys about a little bit more about what I was talking about last week. So I talked about weight gain and calorie surplus and things of that nature last week, right? This week, I want to talk to you guys about a little bit of like the progression that I'm doing right now. I'm doing that strength phase that I've mentioned a couple times, which naturally means that I'm a calorie surplus, which in my case, because of my metabolism and how active my lifestyle is, that means that I'm eating, doing massive high calorie protein shakes, and then eating some more. And then kind of talking to you guys a little bit about this experience for me, because traditionally speaking, I've never done a strictly strength phase. I've done phases that have a lot of strength in it. I've done phases that have some strength and some bodybuilding in it. I've done muscular strength training phases, but every one of the above were either performance-based in some way, shape, or form, or had some form of strength and conditioning, or some form of high-intensity interval training, or some form of CrossFit in there. So this is the first phase that I'm doing, that the only cardiovascular work that I'm doing in this training cycle is for recovery purposes. You know, like very, very light, very mild form of cardio to get stimulation of blood flow, better recovery, better chance for my muscles to actually loosen up after I'm done working out or my second session a day. And it's been interesting, okay? Before I get to the details about that type of programming and kind of like what I'm doing in this phase, I want to touch upon, lost my train of thought. Oh yes, so I want to touch upon the subject of, if you notice, for the most part, right, and I'm going to try not to take too long on this part, for the most part, people that do powerlifting style training, strength style training, which is kind of the type of training that I'm doing right now, most of them, if you talk to them, they're trying to, in some way, shape, or form, lean out, but they are really good at lifting heavy weight for fewer reps. So that's what they do. That's just because like that, like I'm really, really good. I can put 400 pounds on my back. I can squat that, or I can bench over 200 pounds, 300 pounds, whatever it is, right? That's what they're really good at. So they end up sticking to this, when really for those people, they probably benefit more from doing the type of training that I usually do, which is more conditioning-based training, more endurance-based, more high-intensity interval training, right? Not all cases, but for the most part. People like myself are more on the thinner side, who, traditionally speaking, when you talk to them, they're trying to pack on muscle mass and gain some size and, you know, be a little bit more built. Not always. Those people, traditionally speaking, are better at high-intensity interval training, at CrossFit style training, at running, at sprinting, at jumping, athletic work, you know, and not necessarily as naturally strong. Strength might be something that might be a little tougher for them. The funny thing about that is the powerlifters, slightly bigger people, actually might lean out a lot faster, doing more of the type of training that they might not be as comfortable in, which is the conditioning style training. While the conditioning people, who are more, maybe like more naturally athletic, can move a little bit faster, who are trying to put on muscle, the ones who are trying to put on muscle, and the ones who are trying to lose weight, of course, on the side, right? these people would actually look more the way they want to look if they did more powerlifting style training, which is what might be more uncomfortable for them because it's not what their body naturally is inclined to do with ease. So I just think that's ironic. So, but that's part of the reason why fitness journey is so interesting and so crazy to think about and so wild when we talk about everybody who starts working out and getting into certain styles of training. Okay? All right. Blabbed quite a bit, had quite a few goofy parts on my video to get to the point, right? So first week of the training cycle is practically done. I have one more day tomorrow of this specific week. And excuse me. A few things I noticed. One, it's a lot of fun to lift really heavy when you're only doing sets of like 1 to 3 reps. Because I'm so used to like lifting moderately heavy for a few more reps than that, and not having a tremendous amount of rest in between. It's a lot more fun when you're only doing 2 reps. It's like, oh shit, this is heavy, but it's like, oh, but I'm done. Okay. 2, a lot of core work with the strength training. A lot. Like the guy whose program I'm doing, like, he's well versed in what he's doing, and I can tell just by the first week the way it's written and everything, I am amazed at the amount of core strengthening work that is in this program. Even when I look through, of course, now more and more through the program, I'm like, wow, okay, there's a lot of this. Which I should have known that, especially for injury prevention when you're lifting heavy, like you're putting a lot of load in your midsection, your core, your lower back, like that, those are general area. So lifting heavy with core does go hand in hand, but I was just amazed. Like, I haven't done this much amount of core work other than back when I was fighting, and this is different because this is like more strength building on the core. Wow, I feel like as much as we think of strength building for core work for fighting, it's really more endurance building, with some strength here and there. But it's really more so longer bouts, longer reps, and things of that nature, longer durations. So kind of went all over the place. Really, the whole purpose of this video was just to kind of get the point across of like, step out of your comfort zone. If you're a bigger guy or a bigger girl and you're naturally really strong and you naturally can power lift or Olympic lift really well and stuff like that, there's nothing wrong with that. That's awesome. Like, enjoy your benefit, enjoy what you're good at, of course. But if your final goal is to maybe lose a little bit more weight and lean out a little bit more, I know it's not going to be comfortable to do cardiovascular work or to do HIIT or CrossFit or run or whatever it may be, and of course not all the time, because usually if you're bigger, like, it's going to be a little tougher on your joints to do a lot of like high intensity interval training that requires a lot of like plyometrics. You might get closer to your results a little fast if you throw some of that in there, or if you just do like what I'm doing right now. I'm doing like a 6 to 8 week cycle. It's supposed to be a 6-week plan, but I'm hoping to do a total of 8 weeks of whatever area you're not necessarily naturally gifted at, because it's going to help you on the other end of the spectrum. And if you're someone who's a little bit more on the naturally thinner, more ectomorphic side, maybe try doing a powerlifting cycle or an Olympic lifting cycle and strength training cycle that doesn't include the stuff that you're naturally good at, which might be running, jumping, or whatever those type of crazy things are, right? And just, you might also surprise yourself at how much you end up loving doing that type of training. Okay, so that's it. Don't want to go too crazy. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a like down below, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys next week.